Hello guys, welcome back to my show Get Real with Jasmin. If this is your first time to my show, hello, I'm Jasmin. And this is a channel about personal growth, self-development, and whatever that's going on with my life. So before we start today's topic, I want to share with you guys a recent finding of mine. So a few weeks ago, my brother, he sent me a text message. He was like, "Hey sis, you're using Spotify, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, what's wrong?" And then he's like, he was planning to join Spotify too, and he's wondering if I'm interested in doing like a Spotify dual plan together because it's cheaper. So I was like, yeah, sure, sure. So he asked me like, hey, how much are you paying for Spotify right now? Um, and then I go back to my bank account and I have a look of like how much they charge me every month. But here's the thing, because I was paying through my Australian account. So it was around like $15. And then so I told him it was like around 15 Australian dollars. And then but we're in Taiwan right now. So he's like, "Hey, this is a price for a Spotify dual plan in Taiwan." And then so I converted the dollars from Australian dollars to Taiwanese dollar. And I was like, "Oh fuck. The Spotify single plan in Australia is more expensive than Spotify dual plan in Taiwan." And I was like, shit, like, this finding, I bet nobody knows about this, right? If you're listening, tell me if you know about this. And I was like, shit, that for Asian people hurt a lot because I feel like I've been overcharged for 2 years. So I was like, okay, then it's easy for everybody to just to change their region to Taiwan to pay a cheaper price. But here's the thing, if you're listening right now, you need to have a Taiwanese credit card. They're not gonna accept it because I tried to pay with my Australian credit card and they don't accept it. So yeah, too bad for you guys. You can't do it. But yeah, it's like it hurts a lot. I was like, whoa, you think like Swedish people will be nicer when it comes to business, but nah, business is business. All right, but I think today's topic is quite serious for me, and I can be very serious too. All right. And I think it's very personal as well, but it's so necessary when it comes to personal growth. I'm going to talk about pain today. I think pain is something that we all have to go through in our lives, but nobody really teach us how to handle it. So I want to share about my own experience and how I process it and how I finally know how to move on, like actually move on with my pain. So if you're struggling with pain right now, make sure you listen until the end, because I hope that after listening to this podcast or after watching this video, you will feel hopeful about where you are in life again. First of all, I want to start by saying that pain is pain. So I don't care if you're here because your loved one passed away, if you just lost your pets, if you lost all your money through a divorce, or if you just got fired, if your boyfriend just broke up with you, or, if someone just ghosted you. I don't care. I don't care what is the sources of your pain, because the thing is, if you are feeling pain, then it's your pain and it's valid. It doesn't matter what kind of pain it is, because I think the common mistake we all make is that we're thinking, "Oh, I'm so stupid for feeling this way." No. No, because if it hurts you, then that's your feeling and it's valid, because it's sad enough already that you are feeling this pain. So why are you making yourself feeling worse by judging yourself for feeling pain? Okay, now I want you to embrace the fact that the feeling of pain might not completely disappear. It's good if it does, but chances are it's not gonna. I used to think that moving on meant that I would never feel that hurt again. I would not cry. I would not just feel painful whenever I thought of this person or whenever I thought about the thing that was causing the pain. So I would beat myself up for still feeling that pain. I would ask myself, like, why are you still not move on yet? Why are you still crying about this person? It's been a year. Why are you still thinking about this? But here's the thing. Moving on or letting it go does not mean forgetting it. You think about this. If your loved one dies, are you gonna forget them? No, of course not. And that applies to all sort of pain. You might still feel that hurt again at some point in your life, and that's okay. Show yourself some compassion. It's never about not feeling that pain again. It's about picking yourself up again and again and again despite the pain. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So, I remember when I was at elementary school, the day we graduated, we have this graduated ceremony, of course. And all of my friends, plural, they were crying like babies. Even the one that looked so cool, they were crying too. And I was a bit surprised because I did not feel a thing in me. I did not feel a thing. So instead, what I did is that I shouted out, "Why the hell are you crying?" Okay, don't judge me. I was 12 years old. I was judging others because I could not understand why they were crying. I could not understand why they were feeling pain. But at the same time, I was being judged too because people think I'm cold-blooded because I'm not crying. And growing up, I always struggle with this because I always feel like something's wrong with me. Like, I just couldn't understand why people feel hurt, why these certain things will hurt people. Like, I always struggle to understand that. But 20 something year later, no. 20? No, 10 years something later, I am now the one that is crying like a baby when saying goodbye with my friends. When I had to leave Australia, I was really, really sad. I was saying goodbye with my friends, and two of my friends, they were calm as fuck. They were calm as fuck. And if I was still that 12-year-old girl, I would probably shout it at them, like, "Why are you not crying?" Right? But that's the thing, like, I didn't, of course. But these two friends, they said very similar thing to me. They said that I do not like the word goodbye because I know that we're gonna meet again. Probably next year, we're gonna meet again. So I'm just gonna treat this like a normal day. I'm just gonna say see you later. And for me, I also believe that we're gonna meet again very soon, right? I am 100% sure, but it still hurt as fuck. I was still very, very sad even I know about this. And here's the lesson that I've learned. People have different tolerances and different threshold for pain. What might hurt that person might not hurt me. See, my friend is thinking like, "Oh, we're gonna meet again somewhere in the future, so it probably doesn't hurt my friend that much." But it still hurt me. And that's okay. You don't need to compare your pain with others. And the second thing is that people process pain in a very different way. I know one of my friends, deep down, she is very, very sad about me leaving, but she didn't cry. And that's okay, because probably she cried in her room, she didn't cry in public. Like, you never know how people deal with their own pain. And so don't judge other people for their pain, but don't let other people judge you for your pain as well. Don't ever feel bad about yourself just because some people come to you and said like, "Hey, you're so cold-blooded because you're not crying." Because that's not true. You have to know who you are. And even if you don't feel pain, you don't feel it. It's not your pain. Like, if you don't feel it, you don't feel it. You don't have to feel like there's something wrong with you. And so don't even assume that you know what's going on with other people's head. Don't be stupid. And at the same point of my life, I had another friend that is grieving the loss of a family member. And when we were catching up, he was asking me like, "Hey, how are you going? How's everything going on?" And I always told him the truth about like what's really going on with my life. But that time I found myself holding back from telling him what's really going on. I just told him that I'm okay. I'm doing great. I feel like I shouldn't even talk about my pain because I feel like my pain is not even worth mentioning. I think it makes me look so ungrateful if I am talking about my pain in front of someone who just lost a family member. Because what kind of pain would be stronger than a loss of a family member? I feel like my pain looks nothing in front of his pain. But that's just not how pain works. Like, I say this again, pain is pain. Everybody is going through a different stages of their lives. At my friend's stage of life, he has to learn how to deal with the pain of losing a family member. But in my stage of life, I need to learn how to deal with leaving my friends. You see, everybody has their own struggle. Everybody has their own trauma. So everybody will have their pain and you will have yours. So just because somebody's pain looks bigger, looks stronger than yours, it doesn't mean your pain is not valid. It doesn't mean your pain is not true. It doesn't mean you're ungrateful because you're feeling that pain. It's your pain. And now let's talk about running away from pain. I think we've all been there, or we are still going through this. And I think it's just so common and it's so normal because growing up, nobody taught us how to deal with pain. Especially like in Asian school, we're taught to learn and learn and learn and study and study and study and then find a job and then be successful. That's Asian education, right? I don't know about Western education, okay? But that's what I know. And so it becomes so normal for us to just run away from pain because it just seems so unnecessary to pause and deal with your pain instead of, just keep going on with your life, keep chasing success. And also another thing is that it's so painful. Like, why do we have to deal with it? Why do we have to face it? Why can't we just keep going on with our lives? And so, yeah, I've been there. I've been there. All of us been there. We try to distract ourselves with work, with sex, with food, with alcohol, with all the other activities, just so we don't need to feel that pain. Did it work, guys? Did it work? Well, been there multiple times. I think the first time that I started doing this is when I was in uni. That I think I was going through some pretty traumatic thing at that time, and I found myself about to cry in the library. And at that moment, I decided that I'm just gonna shut down because I'm not gonna cry in the library. And I shut down instantly, which is a talent of mine, I guess. Like, I can just shut down whenever I want. And then I started overstudying from then since. Well, it's this thing for Asian people, okay? We overstudying. And I think that became a turning point in my life because that's the point I know, okay, you don't need to deal with pain. You can just move on by overstudying. So then I start to overworking later on in my life too. And it in the beginning it did feel like it worked because I start functioning again and it did got me through my 4 years in uni. But that pain showed up again later on in my life in another form, in another relationship. And that's exactly why you need to deal with your pain. Because if you keep running away from it, you'll notice that there is a certain pattern in your life. You just keep living in the same pattern. For example, probably like people just keep leaving you, or you never get to have a real relationship, or like just all these kind of things. We live in a pattern. So be very careful, be very aware of the pattern that you are going through in your life, because the truth is you can only run away so far. See, if you distract yourself with alcohol, then you better make sure that you will never get sober. And if you're distracting yourself by overworking, overstudying, you better make sure that you never graduate or you never retire, because the moment that you stop doing these things, the pain came back to you and start bite you in the ass. And sometimes it will come back to you in the most unexpected way. For example, it could be like a car, a certain lyrics in a song, or a smell, or a conversation that reminds you of those pain that is still there, is still buried deep inside your heart. But the thing is, if you don't deal with it, you will find yourself living in fear, because there will be a certain street that you cannot walk by. There will be a certain song that you cannot listen. There will be a certain thing that people cannot mention in a conversation. So ask yourself, do you really want to live in this fear, or do you want to deal with it and feel comfortable with your life? Because this feeling is gonna follow you. It's not gonna go away. But this time when the pain comes back to you, it will be even harder for you to move on and to let go. Because the interesting thing about pain is that the longer you keep it inside you, the more power it has on you. Because the pain living in you is gonna grow bigger and bigger and bigger. So why not instead, when the pain happens, deal with it, sit in the pain and feel it, and then wait patiently for the pain to pass through you. Because if the pain is not making you happy, why are you keeping this negative energy inside you? Why not just let it go? And yes, I know it's gonna suck so much in the beginning when you decide to face your pain. It's gonna hurt so bad that makes you want to run away from it. But don't you dare to do that. Don't you dare to run away from it just because it's difficult, just because you don't know how to face it. Because what does that say about you? And okay, some people run away from pain, and some other people, they sit in the pain for too goddamn long. And we all been there too, guys. Don't pretend like you don't know what I'm talking about. Don't pretend like you never just keep listening to sad songs on repeat, or just keep rereading the text messages you have with this person, or, scrolling through the pictures, reliving the good old memories you have with this person. I've been there too. Until I told myself, Jasmin, that's it. Enough is enough. Yes, you are allowed to feel that pain, but you are addicted to this pain already. You are making yourself miserable. No, get your shit together. I was lingering in that pain. I was lingering some memories I had with this person, because I feel like at that time, if I let go the pain, it will let go all the good old memories I had with this person. At that time, I feel like I would never found someone as good as this person again. I would never experience this level of joy, this level of excitement again in this life. That's why I was refusing to let go. I was so attached, but looking back, it's just so fucking embarrassing. I was thinking this small. How embarrassing is that, guys? And we all do that sometimes. And I do not know what is your reason for lingering in your pain, lingering in those memories. But what I do know is that the pain that you're feeling right now is not making your life feel better. It's not making you happy. So we're gonna cut this fucking addiction right now, because life goes on. It's just that simple. And let go. This is an act of self-love. And if you're watching this, I want you to know that whatever you had, God have a much better plan for you ahead. The best is always, always yet to come. I want you to believe that, because it's true. Because if you can keep going on with your life, the best is yet to come. Believe that. So stop being attached to those people. So stop being attached to those memories. So stop attached to the job you had. Let it go, because the best is yet to come. And I understand how hard it is to let go of that, especially when it felt so good, when what you had is so good. But I want to share with you guys what really helped me is that whenever I felt myself lingering in those memories again, I will simply ask myself, Jasmin, do you want to be happy or not? And 1,000,000 times my answer will be yes. And then I let go instantly, because I know lingering in these memories is not making me happy. It's making me miserable. It's holding me back from letting God to give me better thing in my life. That's why I want you to ask yourself this question. Do you want to be happy or not? And it's good about asking questions because it allows no space for explanation. The answer is either yes or no. So ask yourself that. And another thing about pain is that whenever you are feeling the pain, whenever you're hurt, stop focusing on why and start focusing on how instead. So I read this in a book before. It was a Mandarin book. So I'm sharing Taiwanese wisdom with you guys. Well, and in this book it says like when you're in pain, stop asking why and start asking how. I really wish I said this, but I didn't, okay? But what it says is that when you're asking why while you're in pain, you're basically asking God why this is happening to me. Why does this person have cancer? Why does his son pass away? Why does this woman have miscarriage? Why? Because sometimes there's no reason. You cannot find a reason. So stop asking why. Because even if there is a reason, chances are you're not gonna like the answer. Imagine if God just tell you like, oh, because it's his karma. That's why he got cancer. We're gonna like it. Or imagine your ex tell you like, oh, it's not you, it's me. Are you gonna like the answer? No. So stop asking why because it doesn't matter. What matter is that shit happened to you. And you're feeling the pain and we're gonna deal with it. That's it. So instead, focus on the reality. Instead, start asking yourself how. How can I pull myself back up again? How do I feel better again? How do I feel that strength again? How can I walk the day feeling hopeful again? That's more important because by asking how, it's give you hope because there is an action that you can take. But when you're asking why, like there's nothing you can do about it. Asking yourself why leads to desperation, but asking yourself how leads to hope. And again, I really wish I said that, but no, it was from the book. And I will put the link for the book down below just in case anybody's here that know how to read Mandarin. And the next thing I want to talk about is to look into your pain and treat pain as a teacher, that to learn from the pain, because pain is a very, very powerful teacher if you're willing to learn from it. Cut your pain open and look into it and analyze it. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this pain? Be careful, I'm asking why are you feeling this pain instead of why is this pain happening to you? There's a difference between that because by asking why are you feeling this pain, you are shifting the focus back to yourself. So it's something that you can do about it. But when you're asking why is this happening to me, you're shifting the focus externally, which there's nothing you can do. There's a difference. So pain is a result. But what is exactly causing you pain? Are you feeling lonely? Are you feeling abandoned? Are you feeling useless? Study yourself. Your emotions are like a messenger. They're telling you something. But most of the time, when pain happens, you just sit in your room and cry. And what happened after that? Study yourself. Study your pain. If you just move on from it, you're never gonna understand why it's causing you pain. And if you never learn from it, you'll find yourself living in a pattern again. Your pain is telling you something. Maybe it's a lack of self-love. Maybe it's a low self-esteem. Maybe it's some childhood trauma that you never solved. Maybe it's your insecurity. It could be a wound that was never healed. It happened long before maybe this relationship happened. For me, I learned so much about myself through pain. I was avoiding my issues for a long, long time, and that intense pain is exactly what I need for self-reflection and to stop running away from my problems. It was like, I need that hurt. It has to hurt this bad for me to be like, Jasmine, that's it. We're looking into this right now. I was telling myself like, we cannot keep letting people to treat you like that. We cannot keep letting people to hurt you like that. But I need that pain. It has to hurt that much. It was almost like the universe was forcing me to finally deal with my insecurities by giving me that pain. So that's the thing. When pain happens, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's like when you have fever, for example, your body is sending you a message to maybe reevaluate your lifestyle. Maybe you have been working too much. Maybe you have been eating too unhealthy. Maybe it's your routine. There's something. Pain is a teacher. If you study that enough, you will learn something. And so sometimes I think that people do need that intensity of the pain for them to finally look inward and confront the problems that they have buried deep down. So treat it as a lesson. What does your pain tell you about you? Use it to understand yourself more deeply. So eventually you can probably solve the root causes of the problems. You can finally prioritize yourself. You can finally start cherishing life again. You can finally be grateful for the things or people around you, or you can simply get your shit together. So don't run away from it. Look into it. It's a very, very powerful teacher. And last but not least is be patient. It's gonna take time. And I know you probably heard about this hundreds or thousands times already. Then why are you still trying to rush it? Why? Think about the times that you thought you would never get through that pain. And then at one day you found yourself not even thinking about that pain for the whole day. And the next thing you know, when that pain strikes again, you look back and you're like, oh, damn, actually, I have walked so many steps ever since that pain. See? You've done that before, and you can do it again and again and again. Trust me, the pain will pass as long as you are facing it, as long as you're not running away from it. But you have to be patient. And yes, the pain is still gonna hurt sometimes, but at least you can breathe again. And at least you can walk through the life feeling hopeful again. And remember, this pain will eventually stop bleeding and then becomes your scar. And scars are beautiful. I believe that scars are beautiful because it represents how many things you have been through. It represents how resilient you are. It represents how many times you have picked yourself up no matter how many times you fell. And that's so fucking beautiful. That's so fucking badass. So wear your scars with pride. And I want to end this podcast today by sharing a quote from my favorite book. It's called Untamed by Glennon and Doyle. Again, I really wish I said this, but I didn't. And I'll put a link for the book down below if any of you guys is interested. Okay, so the quote goes, I know that when the pain and waiting are here, the rising is on its way. I hope that the pain will pass soon, but I will wait it out because I've tested pain enough to trust it. And because who I will become tomorrow is so unforeseeable and specific that I will need every bit of today's lesson to become her. And thank you guys so much today for listening to my podcast. And remember that the pain you're feeling right now, it's only temporary. And when it's gone, it's gonna be so fucking beautiful. You're gonna be so proud of yourself for never giving up. And you're gonna be amazed by yourself by how much stronger you have become. And I have no doubt in you that you got this. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching this video. And as usual, pause this podcast, leave a 5-star review, share it with your friend. And if you have any recommendations or any suggestions, feel free to let me know in the comment. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye now!